Back here on First Things First with Greg Jennings. Panthers beat the Cowboys Sunday. That's good news. Cam Newton lost his favorite target for the foreseeable future. That is the bad news. Greg Olsen refractured the same foot he injured last season. He says he does hope to return, though, later this season. Cece, how much does the loss of Greg Olsen impact this Panthers offense?
Now, Greg Olsen, he's one of my favorite players. Now, you talking about a tough guy, a guy that can block on the end of the line of scrimmage. Look how good Carolina's been running the football since he's been there. So let's forget about Cam Newton. And a lot of that, they don't have a great offensive line. No, they work in unison. But this guy, in this era where tight ends are one-dimensional, no, this is a three-down tight end. Man, he gets his nose in there. You can flex him out wide. Now, is he as flexible as Gronk is, where you can run individual routes? No. But he is a hell of a wide receiver and a very, very, because I'm not one just to give away the great football player, but he's right there to that good to great argument. You can have that argument. He's got great hands. He runs great routes, really understands defense, what they're trying to do. And with Cam Newton, if you put him in the gun and he puts the ball in the running back and you have an RPO where you quarterback the run pass option, the tight end's ability to be able to get up the seam when those linebackers come up, now they don't have that. So they're going to be running a lot of RPOs. But when you lose his ability to be able to block down, open up a hole, the ability to be able to expand the defense, to be able to get down the field, and he is the surest-handed receiver that they have on their rosters. Cam Newton has thrived throwing the ball. I'm going to have to get Dusty later on to break down the numbers as far as who he throws to. But
he's been his best receiving option.
There's no question.
The most consistent. And at 6'6", what's Cam's missing point, Nick, when he misses?
Throws high.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of those balls been caught by Greg Olsen that would have been incompletions, Greg.
Look, when I look at Greg Olsen and him not being present for Cam Newton, this is a huge loss. You're talking about Cam's number one receiver over the last 5 years. When healthy, he's been his only 1,000-yard receiver with the outlier year, Kelvin Benjamin, who they had the same amount of yards, but Greg Olsen still led the team in receiving. This guy, and then not to mention, when you bring in Norv Turner, a guy who runs an offense that is predicated on a big X receiver, you have that in Devin Funchess.
Yep.
A running back that can catch the ball out of the backfield. You have that in McCaffrey, and a tight end that can get down the middle of the field, catch those crossers, catch the seams, and do the big bulk of the body work. You look at Antonio Gates when he was in San Diego, when San Diego was in San Diego. In his success, this is who Greg Olsen was going to be. You look at Kyle Rudolph, what he was able to do with Norv Turner. This is huge for Cam Newton and for Norv Turner as well, because this is a huge part of his offensive scheme.
And something, Nick, you and I have been discussing, it's even going to have a bigger effect. Because we thought this was going to, because I got a lot of faith in Norv Turner. My last year, 16 years in the league, Miami, Norv Turner was offensive coordinator. He's one of the reasons why I came out of retirement. He's like, Chris, I know how to use you. You and Mike Irvin, I know what to do. Deep in, come back on the outside. Every once in a while, I'll throw you a little bone, throw you one deep. Oh, okay, Norv, thank you. Quick slant. Yeah, all those things. He knows how to get guys and be successful offensively. But, Nick, what's the biggest problem with Carolina right now? That offensive line.
Well, that's you guys are making all these great points about Olsen being Cam's favorite target. He's been targeted 720 times since Cam's rookie year. So I totally agree. But Ryan Khalil, their left tackle, he's on IR. Their right tackle, Darrell Williams, he was carted off this past weekend. He needs knee surgery. And now Greg Olsen has a broken foot, and we don't know if he's coming back. So your left tackle, your right tackle, and the guy who can help out backup tackles, Greg Olsen, they're all gone. There's a reason why in Atlanta, and I understand it's a road game, but Carolina is a 6-point dog this week. 6-point dog. Atlanta looked bad in week 1. Carolina's defense looked dominant in week 1. And Carolina goes there having a better record than Atlanta last year, and they're a 6-point underdog. Explain that to me. It's because there's real concern about who's going to catch the ball for Carolina and how you're going to keep Cam upright. Like, is it going to have to be another game where Cam is constantly under duress? Like, this is this is the most important player on their offense other than Cam Newton.
And you and I thought that Cam with Norv, because I told you what Norv was going to do to Cam. And I believe that Cam was to that point where he's had enough success, but also in his recent failure, that he would surrender his game. So if Cam's numbers suffer, I don't want people out there criticizing, because you need to realize what he's working with. He lost his number one receiver the last 5 years. He's already got his left tackle on the rack. Right tackle just went down. Now, Cam is an ultimate force multiplier, but listen, you need some help. In Carolina, if they start to struggle offensively, because, man, they have lost a number of players that will affect their quarterback.
All right, well, Carolina's going to have to show up and play regardless on Sunday. They're not going to give them a couple weeks off to think and regroup here. Who's the next guy up? Who does Cam throw the ball to? Who's going to be the next guy that's going to step up that he's going to feel comfortable enough with?
I think we're going to see a lot of Jarius Wright. Number 13, they brought him over from Minnesota. He was in the system with Norv Turner when Norv was in Minnesota. He runs that deep cross, that deep over. He can get through the seams and create that one-on-one that you want for Devin Funchess, coming in that deep, that big end that he likes to throw to a bigger receiver. I think this is the guy that they have to get productivity out of. And then Ian Thomas, a young guy who he has to step up. This is a great opportunity for him. I mean, he's going to be the future there. So when you look at this opportunity that is presenting itself, they have a lot of young DJ Moore. They have a lot of young receivers.
They've spent a lot of draft capital.
Yes.
Curtis Samuel, second-round pick last year. DJ Moore, a first-round pick this year. You mentioned Ian Thomas. I think a fourth-round pick this year, because you saw that Greg Olsen last year got dinged up. You knew that at some point you were going to have to transition there. But this is also Christian McCaffrey. Remember, we're going to feature him. We're going to feature him. We're going to feature him 10 carries week one. They were talking about he's going to have 20-plus carries. Like he's not a between-the-tackles killer the way they tried to make him out to be. It is despite the fact that Cam might be my favorite player in the league, you were shocked when I didn't pick the Panthers to make the playoffs. I thought the loss of Norwell was huge. They already had one injury on the offensive line. Darrell Williams, their right tackle, who got carted off this week, he got dinged, more than dinged in training camp. They're like, we're going to try to work with him anyway. I just thought it's so hard to go through the whole year healthy on the offensive line. If you go into the year with 2 injuries on the offensive line, you're in trouble after losing your Pro Bowl, All-Pro guard in free agency. Now to lose Olsen? There's a reason the Panthers, we talk about the Cowboys not having a single play over 20 yards. The Panthers had 2 plays over 15 yards. One was Greg Olsen, and the other was a Cam run. Like, their offense struggled with the explosive plays last week already, and you saw it once Olsen went out of the game.
All right, Greg, thanks so much for coming in, hanging out with us today. Always appreciate it. Coming up.